just a moment. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. Again, this is Kim Brisky. I am with Summer Corps, the administrators of the SBIF program. We'll get started in just a moment. If you have any questions throughout, please feel free to use the Q&A feature at the bottom. Additionally, we'll be having actually have an open session at the end for people to ask additional questions. As a reminder, a copy of the presentation as well as the actual video will be sent out via email afterwards. Kevin, just give me a heads up when we have all the attendees in and we'll get started.
Kim, I think you can begin when ready. We're live here.
All right, that sounds great. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. We are really excited to roll out the January open districts for the SBIF program and also talk a little bit about the enhancements. So to kick us off today, I'm actually going to start by turning this over to Mary O'Connor with the Department of Planning and Development.
Hi, I'm going to turn this over to Chip Hastings, our deputy manager, and Chip will begin today's presentation.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. He was not on, so I was trying to.
He had difficulty, but he just joined us.
Oh, perfect. Excellent. Thanks for your patience, everybody. Just one moment and we'll get started. Hey, Mary, we still don't have Chip on the line. Do you want to just maybe get started a little bit talking about the program and then turn it over when he arrives?
Can you just give us 2 more minutes, please?
Oh, sure, we can do that.
Apologies. Sorry for the difficulties.
That's okay. Technical difficulties happen. Again, for everybody here, this is Kim Brisky with Summer Corps. We are the administrators of the SBIF program. And we're really excited today to roll out all the open districts for January. And a little heads up for anybody on this call now who perhaps their district isn't opening in January. A lot of this information is still relevant. But the other thing I do encourage you to do is check out the Summer Corps website, SummerCorps, SOMERCOR.com/SBIF. And on that page, you're going to find all of the updated rules for the program, design guidelines, the application, as well as additional resources. But also to help with all of our applicants have a little bit more planning time, we actually have listed all of the districts that will be opening and when throughout all of 2021. So if your district isn't opening in January, you can take a look to see when your district is opening and make sure that you're prepared. And that way you can have the most completed application when it's your time to apply to help ensure success. So I do encourage you, again, it's www.somercor.com/SPIF to view the website. Additionally, at the bottom of the website, there is a newsletter sign up. At that point, you can actually sign up for the SPIFgram. That is a monthly e-newsletter that includes reminders about what districts are open, announcements about program enhancements, as well as webinar signups. So I certainly encourage you to make sure you're getting all of the information about the SPIF program. And again, just a quick reminder, there's two opportunities in terms of asking questions. Anytime you can use the Q&A chat feature at the bottom. Additionally, at the end, after you've viewed the rest of the content and you have more questions, feel free to fill it in there. And everybody who's participating today will get a copy of this webinar, a hard copy via email, and also a copy of the video. So you'll be able to refer to all of that content at a later date. We'll just get started in one moment. Thank you.
Okay, I'm in.
Great, we're going to get started and we'll have Chip Hastings, who's the Managing Director of the department, kick us off with some remarks about SPIF. Thank you so much.
Sure. Hi. Apologize for the technical difficulties this morning, or this afternoon, I should say. So first of all, I want to thank everyone for joining us. I really appreciate you taking the time. As you know, we spent a good amount of time in the last 6 months reviewing the program, evaluating the program, and making several updates, which we're really excited about. So thank you for being here today. Obviously, we're starting our rollout schedule for the next 3 years this month, and this is really the first batch, and we're kicking it off intentionally with several industrial corridors. So thank you to the delegate agencies, all the SPIF applicants, anyone that has been able to join us. I want to thank Mayor Lightfoot for her support, Commissioner Cox for making it possible and encouraging us to continue to evaluate the program and encouraging us to think big with the funding rollout and some of the things that we're trying to implement. So I will introduce the SPIF team and make a couple of quick statements, then hand it over so we can get started. My name is Chip Hastings. I'm the Managing Deputy Commissioner in the Bureau of Economic Development, overseeing the Small Business Advocacy Division, financial incentives, things like SPIF, obviously, TIF, tax incentives, high value land sales. Also on the call today from the SPIF team with the DPD are Mary O'Connor, the Deputy Commissioner of the Small Business Advocacy Division, Nora Curry, the SPIF Program Director, Fareed Mohammed, who is a Coordinator of Economic Development with us, and of course, SummerCorps, who is our Program Administrator. I know Manny's on the phone. I'm not sure if anyone else from SummerCorps is, but they can say hello. So as you know, my intention was to do a brief overview of the SPIF program. I'm guessing most of you are fairly familiar with it, but for the sake of time, I'll just say that it's something that we're very, very proud of and something that we've intentionally tried to invest time and money in so that we can, over the next 3 years, really take it to the next level in a couple of different ways. We recently rolled out a $60 million funding request for the next 3 years, which is loosely akin to the amount that we've committed in the previous 10 years. If I'm misspeaking, someone can correct me. But in addition to the funding allocation, We made several programmatic changes, enhancements. We can go through those in more detail, but the ones of most interest are probably increasing the maximum grant amount for, particularly for industrial projects, from 150,000 to 250,000. We've increased eligibility limits so more businesses can participate. One thing that we're particularly encouraged by and enthusiastic about is we now have the option of funding via escrow as opposed to providing as a reimbursement post-completion, which a lot of people, a lot of feedback we received indicated that that was going to be really helpful. We also now have the ability to provide technical assistance via access to a team of architects and or construction project managers. And we're expanding our social media platform and presence so that we can keep people more informed in real time, disseminate information better, more effectively, more frequently. So those are just a couple of things that we're really looking forward to taking advantage of, a couple of things that we've put into place recently. And I guess with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Mary, and she can say a few things, and then we can move on and get started with the program. So thank you again for being here today, and we really appreciate your time and commitment to economic development in Chicago.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great, thanks. So thank you all for joining us today. As Chip mentioned, my name is Mary O'Connor, and I serve as the Deputy Commissioner here in the city's Department of Planning and Development, overseeing the Small Business Advocacy Division. I want to thank all of you for the great work that small business owners do day in and day out. It is the small businesses that make Chicago second to none, and we are grateful for the time and investment you have put into not only your business, but to the communities that you serve. We realize more than ever what a risk and challenge it is to be a small business owner. Whether it's your first year or your 30th year, owning a small business presents new challenges that you all have to tackle, and especially as we struggle to adapt to today's challenges during today's economic climate and the challenges brought on due to COVID-19. So in addition to the program enhancements that Chip mentioned, we also want to make sure you take advantage of the other resources available to you. Another essential part of making this program a success is our relationship with the aldermen, alderwomen, our local community stakeholder groups, delegate agencies, the Leary associations that serve your local business communities. Many of these Leary partners and delegate agency groups have joined today's call. Our office works closely with many of these groups, and we are nothing less than impressed on how they continue to step up and advocate for their communities and their businesses. I really encourage all of you to get to know their staff, join their email list for updates and other resources that are available to you, and attend any webinars or networking events that they have planned. And if you need assistance in getting to know your local delegate agency groups or your aldermen, please contact our office and we'd be happy to make that introduction. As Chip mentioned, we have a new technical service list of providers to help you. And so over the last year, we heard over and over again the challenges of running and managing your business while trying to manage your construction project. So we established a list of technical assistance advisors in the construction project management and architects. And if you choose to use these services, these costs can be incorporated into your SBIF grant. And these advisors can free up much of your time and allow you to focus on your business. And we will provide a list of these technical advisors at the end of today's presentation. And last but not least, also joining us are our colleagues from Summer Corps, who are the program administrators. Silvia Roscoe, the program director, will be leading today's information session and will introduce you to the whole Summer Corps team. Summer Corps will partner with you in this process and guide you to complete your vision. If some of you already had the pleasure of working with Summer Corps, you know firsthand how valuable they are and what the impact they have with the city and helping you, like I said, get to the vision of your project completion. And as always, please continue to use our office as a resource if we could be of any assistance to your business. Our team is happy to discuss any concerns you may have or challenges you are facing, and we will do our best to serve you. And with that, I'll now turn it over to Silvia. Thank you all again for being here today. As Chip mentioned, you are our first group of potential applicants to benefit from our program enhancements.
Thank you, Mary. Again, my name is Silvia Orozco. I am the Program Director for the Small Business Improvement Fund Program. Summer Corps administers this program. We are a not-for-profit 504 lender. We also administer the SBIF program, as well as the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund program. Over the past 15 years, I've assisted hundreds of existing businesses, landlords, and startups in obtaining the SBIF grants. So we're now in our 21st year. This is one of the longest running and most successful city programs. We've helped retain hundreds of businesses throughout the city of Chicago, helped businesses expand in nearly every neighborhood throughout the city. So please be advised that this is a non-residential program, so the grants cannot be used for residential units. It cannot be used for capital or operating expenses. It is strictly for infrastructure repairs only. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started with today's presentation. Our presentation guideposts, we will go over what is SBIF, our program mission, the grant parameters, getting started, what is my business, or if is my business or property in a TIF district, what TIF districts are on deck, do I meet these SBIF eligibility requirements, what are the program rules, how do I apply, what's the timeline, what resources are available. We'll also go over the January rollout information, sample projects, SBIF facts, and additional questions and answers. Launched in 1999, the City of Chicago Small Business Improvement Fund program promotes economic development by providing small businesses and landlords with reimbursable grants for permanent building improvements. Again, as I previously stated, residential units are not eligible for this program. The SBIF program uses local tax increment financing revenue to reimburse the grants for the pre-approved repairs or rehab for their businesses, their facilities, or for the purchase of adjacent land for acquisition. Summer Corps, again, is the program administrator. We are contracted by the City of Chicago to administer this program. So before moving forward at this point, I would like to introduce you to Juan Ayala. Juan Ayala is the owner of Analytical Instruments Incorporated, who successfully completed the SBIF program, and he has returned for more improvements to be completed to his space. So he would say a few words about his experience.
Thank you, Silvia, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Juan Ayala. I'm the CEO and founder of Analytical Instruments. I want to quickly share our story and our experience in the past with the SBIF program. Personally, by myself, I was born and raised in the Humboldt Park area. 10 years ago, we founded a high-tech manufacturing and distribution company focused on various industries such as oil and gas, environmental, biofuels, as well as flavors and fragrances. We have amongst our staff 22 individuals, many of which are engineers of various disciplines. We work on really cool stuff involving electrical, mechanical, augmented with machine vision technologies. We're located on the west side, and our goal is not just to have a growing business here in the inner city part of Chicago, but also live and develop jobs in our community, specifically here in the Westtown Humboldt Park community. We have a strong focus on ensuring that we hire local here from the community. For many years, we struggled with sufficient facilities to handle our rapid growth. As many of you are aware, real estate after manpower can be one of the largest investments a company must make. And many times it doesn't stop with the acquisition, as it takes an equal amount, if not more, to develop a property for the given needs of a business. So for many years, we felt stuck and this stunted our growth. A few years back, via ICNC, we were introduced to Summer Corps and Silvia and her team, and we decided to participate in the last round of SBIF funding. And to be honest, I was a little bit skeptical about this program. I guess we always assume, me and my partners here, that this was not meant for our type of business. It was more for larger institutions. Not sure why. luckily, so we decided to proceed anyway. Luckily, we were selected and we went straight to putting the project in place to make the most efficient use of the tax funding that was appropriated to us. In terms of the process, I wouldn't say it was extremely easy, but it was fairly easy compared to some of the other things that we have to do. It of course required persistent follow through, a very detailed plan of execution. Every project is different. Just want to share a couple of little highlights of what we had to do. What we, being engineers here, we started with a sketch. We mocked up what we wanted to achieve for our project. And then we later brought in some professionals to execute our vision and put them into the proper designs. Financing was another challenge, but in the end, this was secured after a bunch of back and forth with the bank. So it's really good to hear the update from Chip that there's now an escrow option, because that definitely would have made it much easier. Because be perfectly honest, there was one point that was going to be probably a showstopper for us. So very good to hear that update. Later in the process, the more challenging part was the delays with contractors and handling those delays. I think that's something that everybody is going to experience at one point or another. Contractors are never at time, but just a little tip, don't be afraid to call 17 times a day to get the project back on schedule. Time is money, and having that kind of disturbance on your business is not beneficial. So the faster we can get that on track, the better. In terms of support throughout the whole process, we had communication with both our ICNC network, Summer Corps, and also the SBDC in our area. And I got to say, I had a really profound respect for that team and what they do. I was always greeted with helpful answers, and everything I needed was help. And got the answers that we needed to get us on track. As a result, we were able to expand our facilities. We reorganized many of the internal partitions and separation, got much needed upgrades to our windows and facade, and which I feel led to other businesses in the areas following suit. I'm not sure if it was related to them also getting SBIF funding, but I saw an immediate change in our neighborhood. So I like to feel that we kind of led the way there. So we now have a very modern professional office, and as a result, it's in many ways the way we designed our space. It's now it can be considered COVID compliant, so that was very helpful. We have a nice separation where in the past it was not the case. Fast forward after the completion of the project, having the additional space and structure has allowed our business to grow a staggering 25%, and we've added 4 new full-time employees from the Chicago area and 1 from the suburbs. And this is something that's going to help us to continue to grow. More recently, in the last couple of months, we recently purchased a company out of New Jersey, and that we're now looking to double our production capacity. So we're looking at bringing that business from New Jersey here to Chicago. And we're looking to expand an additional 7,500 square feet and add another 4 to 6 employees. So something that we're very excited about to bring here to our community. So looking forward to continuing to grow in the community that I hold very dear to my heart. And I want to thank you, Silvia, and the rest of the team for allowing me the opportunity to share our story and at the very least, give confidence to any other small business owners out there that are skeptical or unsure of how to go about this. Don't be afraid to ask questions and dive in. I always say that finished is better than perfect. Just get started, get the process rolling, and you'll figure it out along the way. There's plenty of help there to support you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Juan. I really appreciate you taking the time to join us and give us the information on how this whole thing worked for you. So we're really glad that we were able to assist you and look forward to working with you on your next application. So with that, we'll go ahead and proceed with this presentation. So the grant parameters, the maximum grant amount allowed under the SBIF program is $250,000 maximum assistance per industrial property. The maximum assistance for a single owner or tenant in a commercial property or a landlord is $150,000 for a single commercial space. $250,000 is a maximum that can be granted for a multi-tenant property. With a commercial owner or tenant or the landlord applying, each tenant would be eligible to receive a maximum of $75,000 assistance. The applicants may receive 1 or more grants up to their maximum program assistance Once the maximum has been reached, the applicant will need to wait 3 years in order to reapply for additional funding. So your reimbursement percentage will be determined according to your appropriate application type. The factors that determine the reimbursement percentage vary, which include gross sales, net worth, liquidity, and the number of employees. And we'll get into that a little bit further as we go. So if you are a commercial business, you are a tenant only based on your gross sales, gross receipts for nonprofits, if that's applicable. If your revenue is between $0 and $3 million, you'd be eligible for 90% reimbursement. If the revenue is between $3 to $6 million, you'd be eligible for 60% reimbursement. Revenue between $6 and $9 million would be eligible for a 30% rebate. So if you are a landlord, you do not have any interest in the business at all, that's leasing the space. So we take a look at your net worth and liquidity. So if your net worth and liquidity happens to be between 0 and 3 million, you'd qualify for 90% reimbursement. Liquidity, if your, net worth is between 3 to 6 million, you'd qualify for 60% reimbursement. And if net worth is between 6 and 9 million, you'd qualify for a 30% reimbursement. And there is a liquid cap of $500,000 per individual. If you happen to be a commercial business that's owner occupied, both of the items listed above, both of the categories apply. So both the net worth and sales requirements apply in this case. So if you happen to fall within 60% reimbursement in one category and 90% in another category, we'd have to go with the lesser of the two. So you would qualify for a 60% reimbursement. For industrial businesses, if you are both the building owner or the tenant, you'd be eligible for a 50% reimbursement, and you must have less than 200 employees in order to qualify for the grant. Is my business or property in a SBIF district? What you can do is visit our website at summercore.com/SBIF to see if your property falls within a SBIF district. So once you get to the website, you can click here, confirm if your business is in a TIF district. That will send you to the City of Chicago's Department of Zoning's website, where you can then enter your address. You click here, you enter the address here. Once that address is searched, please make sure that you click on the address pin that pertains specifically to your property. You want to make sure that you get the information that pertains to the property and, not the guy who's a few storefronts down. So that's the way that you would confirm whether or not you're in a TIF district. So once that information is available to you, the pop-up screen here will have the name of the TIF district. So as you can see, it's tax increment financing. This property happens to fall within the 79th Street corridor. So what districts are open and on deck? So we have 95 eligible SBIF districts spanning through north, south, west side. So each month we have a 30-day acceptance period where we're able to accept the applications for specific TIF districts. So you can notice that the districts of openings are provided to the relevant alderman. They're posted on the DPD website, SummerCore's website as well, and also included in the Small Business Improvement Fund's e-newsletter, or SBIFREM as we refer to it as. So to determine whether or not your TIF district is open, you can click on our website, click on number 2 to see what districts are currently open for the current month. We also have the on-deck districts that'll let you know what TIF districts are open for the following month. As well as, as Kim mentioned, we do have the entire year, the schedule for the entire year posted on the website as well. So if the district is not open for that same month, you can check to see when it will open. Do I meet the SBIF eligibility requirements? So who can apply for SBIF? So both business and property owners can apply if you're within a district that's SBIF eligible, if it's authorized, and if we are accepting the new applications, you can submit an application. So business owners that lease their spaces of business, landlords, commercial or industrial properties can apply. So if you are a commercial business, annual sales must total less than $9 million. For industrial businesses, You must have 200 or fewer full-time equivalent employees. For landlords, the property owners must have a combined net worth that does not exceed $9 million, and total liquid assets cannot exceed $500,000 per person. So this requirement should be applicable to industrial businesses that lease any portion of the property, whether it's one or more entities. If they do not share any common ownership with that, they will be accounted for as a landlord as well. So if you're a tenant, your annual sales must be less than $9 million with express prior to property owner approval. So if you are a tenant, we do ask that the property owner gives you approval to do work to their property. Do I meet the SBIF eligibility requirements? So here we have a list of businesses and organizations that are not eligible to apply. So chances are, if your business is not listed on here, you would be eligible. If you're not sure, you can always check in with us. We'll be sure to answer all your questions that you may have. What improvement costs are eligible for SBIF? So some of the things that we could cover include roofing, facade, permanent components to the structural signage, alterations that are needed for ADA compliance, if you need to install a ramp, if you need to widen your doors to make them ADA accessible, if you need to make an ADA accessible restroom, those types of items are covered. HVAC, mechanical and other mechanical systems, plumbing and electrical work, certain project-related architectural and construction management fees that are related to the project can be covered, environmental remediation measures, permanent interior renovations, including fixtures, and the purchase of adjacent land parcels for purposes of expansion or parking. So please note that if you are looking to purchase the adjacent land, you must own the current property that you're operating out of right now, and you have to either use that grant for expansion of the business itself or for the parking lot that has to be directly adjacent to your property that you currently own and operate your business out of. So that's the only way that we can reimburse for acquisition of the property. So again, this list is not comprehensive. So if there's something on your mind that you're looking to do, you're not sure whether or not it's eligible, your question may be answered before we finish this presentation. If not, we're always available to help you. What improvement costs are not eligible for SBIF? So some of the items that we cannot cover include new construction. So we can't do any additions or expansions, and we can't do new construction just from the ground up. Any standalone or minor cosmetic repairs we can't do. So if you're just looking to freshen up the place with the new coat of paint, maybe just some new flooring, those are too small of a project in order to move forward. But if you're looking to do a lot more that goes along with it, then those items can be covered. So we do not cover any equipment related expenses, including kitchen appliances, computers, office furniture, things of that nature. Anything that can physically be lifted easily and taken out of the building will not be eligible. Planters surrounding or affixed to the building, certain landscaping, fencing, parking lot construction or repairs, work on the interior residential units. So these are the items that are not eligible. What are these SBIF design requirements? So in order to receive funding, you must conform to the design requirements that include DPD's designs. So the projects will also comply with the design guidelines and additional neighborhood requirements as described in the guidelines, style guides, community plans, and so forth. So you are strongly advised to consult with Summer Corps and the design professionals on design requirements and guidelines before drawing up the plans for the work. We want to make sure that you are in compliance. Everything that you're looking to do is eligible before you move forward with the process. And all applicants that are looking to receive a grant of $25,000 or greater, they shall be required to make at least one exterior improvement of at least 10% of the maximum grant amounts. So this can include facade repairs, windows and doors, any other exterior improvement to beautify the property itself. So the requirement can be waived at DPD's sole discretion if the applicant's demonstrated that no exterior work is required. If you've recently updated the space, it doesn't need any exterior work, then they can possibly grant a waiver so that you do not have to do any exterior work if it's not necessary. What measures are in place to ensure the applicant compliance with the rules? So we do check to make sure that you do not have any debt with the city of Chicago. So we perform scofflaw investigations prior to approval to make sure that you don't have any debt. So if something does come up, we'll let you know, we'll give you a chance to pay it off. Property taxes, since this program is funded through TIF funding, we do have to have the property taxes paid up to date in order to move forward with the process. And you must also comply with child support laws. So each applicant will be required to sign an economic disclosure statement as part of the affidavit, and the grantees will be required to sign an affidavit certifying that they will not relocate outside the district or sell the business within a 3-year time period following the disbursement of the funds. So in cases of reimbursement of land purchase, we do need to see a proof of land ownership prior to moving forward with the reimbursement. How do I apply? You can download a copy of the SBIF application from our website, which is summercore.com/SBIF. So once you download that application, you can email it over to our team at spiff@summercore.com within the designated open acceptance period. So you can go ahead and download that application just to take a look at it and see what you need, and it will give you a little bit more information as we go. What is the SBIF program timeline? So in stage 1, once you actually move forward with the application, you'd be given 20 days to submit any missing documentation, or we'll give you a list of items that are necessary to complete that application. You have 20 days to submit that information. Once you are deemed eligible, we'll move forward into the second stage. Second stage is where you'd have 120 days to submit your plans, your bids, specifications for the work that you're looking to do. And if you have any debt that you're aware of, please be sure to take care of this during that time frame. We will do, as I mentioned, a scofflaw investigation, make sure that you're clear before we can move forward with the approval. So stages 1 and 2 must be completed before the approval of the grant funds can be fully considered. So once everything is in order, we present this information to DPD for approval. If you, the applicant will then be required to submit proof of financing within 120 days following the date of the commitment letter. So this can be either a bank statement showing your available funds or a commitment letter from a bank showing that you have funding available to move forward with your construction project. So once you meet that requirements, we give you 10 months. So the proof of financing deadline is 4 months within that 10-month time frame. So the 10 months will be the time period that we give you to fully complete your construction or to purchase the land if that is what your project entails. So the reimbursement process, once everything is complete, it takes 4 to 6 weeks for processing, and then you receive your reimbursement. So unless DPD has granted an extension of time, the applicants do not complete each stage within their required time frame, they will be disqualified. They do allow a maximum of 2 extensions that can be granted only in the case of unavoidable delays due to extraordinary circumstances. So DPD, if there's a certain circumstance, case by case basis for just about every single application that we receive here. So they have the discretion to determine if they're willing to grant an extension, and they will determine the appropriate length of the time if they decide to move forward with that. What is required to deem a project completed and receive funds? So once your project is completed, we do ask for proof of payments. So we would ask for a sworn statement. If you do have contractor who used subcontractors, we need a sworn statement listing who those subcontractors are. We need paid in full invoices, copies of your canceled checks, and final waivers of lien from both your contractors and subcontractors if they were involved. So Summer Corps also completes the final site visits. We do a site visit before the construction starts and also after the construction starts to verify. We document this. We also include pictures of the before and after projects in our vouchers when we're requesting the reimbursement. So you would also then be required to submit copies of your building permits for the work that was completed. Again, we do make sure that you are clear on scofflaw debt. So any debt that needs to be paid to the city at this point, again, will need to be cleared. These scofflaw investigations are only good for 120 days. So at this point, we will then have requested another scofflaw investigation in which you should be clear by then as well. So once everything is good to go, it usually takes 4 to 6 weeks for the grant payment to go through. Please note that this is just for the non-escrow projects. What resources are available to help? So you can visit our website again at summercorps.com/SBIF to access the resources that support the project. So please do not hesitate to give us a call. You can also check in with the local delegate agencies. And here are a few of the local delegate agencies that are assisting in the specific TIF districts that are opening in January. So these are the ones for specific January open districts. So every month we have a new list of districts that are open. So the delegate agencies in those specific areas will vary. So these right here are the ones that you can reach out to for assistance as of now. We are currently accepting the applications until February 8th. If you have any questions, you can always follow up with Summer Corps or check in directly with the local delegate agencies in your area. So again, for January, the districts that will be opening are Kinsey Industrial Corridor, North Cicero, Peterson-Pulaski, Pilsen Industrial Corridor, and the Roosevelt Cicero Industrial Corridor. So we are currently accepting applications as of now through February 8th at 5 p.m. So I do want you to note that the Kinsey Industrial Corridor TIF district does expire within the next year or so. So we do have to get moving on those projects quickly so that we can meet the deadline before it expires. So the applications that are received for the areas will not be open. Applications received for these areas will not be accepted after 5 p.m. past February 8th. So you can submit your application via email at spiff@summercorps.com. You can also mail your applications via regular mail, UPS, FedEx, however it is. You can also, make sure that you confirm with us that we have received your application. Just in case, I know the mail is pretty horrible at this time. So just please make sure that you confirm with us that you have sent in your application via mail and that we have received it. We do need to receive it before the deadline of February 8th at 5 p.m. So here we have a map of the districts that are currently open right now. So here we have the Pilsen area, Roosevelt Cicero, North Cicero, Kinsey Industrial, Conservative area, and the Peterson and Pulaski TIF. So here we have a sample project, Limitless Creative Company. So this is in the Pilsen Industrial Corridor. The renovations that were done to this property are beautiful. So as you can see, they really, lifted the whole curb appeal of this building here. It looks totally different. The following slide here. This is a work summary of the work that was completed. This just gives you a better idea of some of the items that we can cover. Just so, if you're thinking, oh, does this cover it? So we did new windows, stairwells, masonry repair, interior demolition, expansion of the restrooms, rough framing, carpentry, things of that sort. So these are some of the items that are SBIF eligible and that were completed specifically for the property for Limitless Creative. So these are a couple pictures of the before. Once the project was actually completed, here are the pictures. So here we'll go back to what the property looked like before on the interior. And once the renovations were completed, I think this is a great, great, great project to show as an example for the renovations that were done. So what additional documents should I have on hand to submit along with my SBIF application? So here we have a list of items that are necessary to move forward with the process. So it's not fully required that you submit this with your initial application. If you have this documentation, please feel free to send it, but it's not required. Once you reach the first stage, we will send out a letter to you with the list of items that are necessary that vary depending on the applicant type. So this here will just give you an idea of some of the items that will be required. So some of these you will need to submit. Some of the items here, we have the forms to forward over to you so that you can complete them. What are the financial requirements to participate in the SBIF program? So again, this is a reimbursement grant. So you do have to be prepared to have the financing available to support your renovations. So the proof of financing isn't until you actually get approved, but we want to encourage you to get started with the process now with reaching out to your lender. If you don't want to reach out directly to your lender, you can also reach out to the lenders that are listed on our website. So it is a time-consuming process to get the loan. So we want to make sure that you are set once you get that approval so that you have the full 10-month construction time frame in order to get the project done within a timely manner. So you may choose to receive the grant funds through an escrow account. DPD in its sole discretion may authorize up to 3 draws of funding from the escrow account, and any fees that are associated with the use of an escrow account will be taken out of the grant award. Are startups or new businesses eligible? Yes, startups can apply. Startups will need to have a detailed business plan and projections of income and expenses for the next 3 years. The City of Chicago does reserve the right to impose additional conditions for funding in connection with the startup businesses. So if you've only been in business for 1 to 2 years, we require that tax returns for at least 3 years. So in this case, you would have a projection of gross sales to equal 3 years of data. Am I eligible if I live outside of Chicago? Yes. The important consideration here is whether or not your property is located within a specific TIF district that's authorized for SBIF. So in order to participate in the SBIF, your property must be located within a certain area. Funding sources come from property taxes, so the property taxes must be paid up to date. If you live in another area, that's fine, as long as your business is located or the property that you are looking to apply for SBIF must be located within a SBIF eligible district. What if my building has both business and residential spaces? So this program is primarily used for business, but we do make exceptions to mixed use properties. So for these buildings, we may cover envelope projects such as roofing, facade improvements, and tuck pointing. Also, we will cover the interior renovations of the commercial spaces as well. So anything that pertains to common areas or specifically for the residential units will not be eligible for reimbursement. Will there be enough SBIF funds for all applicants? So each TIF district does have their own set amount of authorized funding. It is limited, that's reserved for the program. So if the demand is greater than the available funding, then a lottery will be conducted to determine the order in which each grant application may be accommodated. So if any surplus funds become available, they will be allocated to the waitlisted applicants. Applications for properties that are located in the Invest Southwest corridor, they shall be given priority funding and lottery as well. So the applicants for a property located in a target corridor shall be second in priority for the funding and the lottery. The remaining applicants will then have their own lottery and be placed on the wait list if applicable after the applicants in the Invest Southwest corridor and target corridors are moved forward with their application. Is there SBIF funding available in my district? So again, every SBIF area has its own budget that the city refills if it has TIF funds available and if there's a demand for it. So if you're not sure if there's funding available, you can always email the Summer Corps team to see if funding is available for that specific district. We also maintain an interested party list for funds, which you can also send an email to at spiff@summercore.com to join. So when more funding becomes available or the city allocates more funds, we'll let you know. The interested party list also helps the city gauge demand for additional funding. What if I'm in a TIF and not in a SBIF? So certain TIF districts are not SBIF eligible. So TIF is the mechanism that funds this program. If you're in a TIF and it's not SBIF eligible, please contact your alderman to see if we can move forward with making that specific TIF district authorized for SBIF. Here is SummerCore and DPD's contact information. So on our team, we have Savannah Allen, Anastasia Williams, Shalonda Fisher, and Kim Brisky, and Nora from the Department of Planning and Development that assist us with this program. So you can visit our website at summercore.com/SBIF for more information on this program. And a copy of the presentation and the link to a video will be emailed to all attendees. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, and I look forward to working with you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Silvia. And again, I just want to say thank you to everybody who submitted questions during the presentation. We've had our staff behind the scenes answering questions as we go. And there were a few here that I just wanted to pull to highlight. Silvia, if you wouldn't mind answering a few more. I think one question we've seen a few times is just talking about, obviously, there are a lot of other ways that you can get financial support through the city of Chicago, potentially through NOF or through different COVID relief funds. Can you talk about how that impacts your ability to apply for SBIF?
Sure. So for the most part, you could use the programs jointly. So you can apply for both, with the exception of certain City of Chicago programs. So if you do receive any other city assistance, that assistance will be deducted from what you can qualify for SBIF. So let's say, for example, you're eligible for a $150,000 grant and you've already received $50,000 from another city program. So that means you'd only be eligible to receive $100,000 for the SBIF program. So it's a little bit different with the NOF. So you can't apply for both programs at the same time, but you could determine which program works best for you and go that route.
Excellent. The next question would be, what if you are already in the process of doing repairs or just completed doing improvements? Are those eligible for SBIF funding?
Unfortunately not. Any construction that has already commenced will not be eligible for reimbursements. If you have a project and it's a big project where let's say you're doing various stages, if it's not yet started, then you do have a possibility to get SBIF funding. So it depends on when you actually want to move forward with the process. So basically it's all about timing. So if you haven't started the process with, let's say you're doing a HVAC system and you have 12 units to replace. Let's say you're looking to do that in the next few months, haven't started it yet, you can check in with us, see if the timing works for you, and then we can move forward from there. But any work that's already been completed, we cannot reimburse for those.
Great. Another question was, I think there have been some delays and backlogs of business licenses, especially because of COVID. So if you are still waiting for a business license or it's in the process of renewing, do you need to have that all squared away at the time of that you apply, or is that something that you can work with SummerCore and DPD to figure out?
Yeah, we'll definitely work with you. So you do not need to have that in hand once you submit your application. We'll work with you on that. You'll have 20 days to complete the application and so forth. You have the second stage time period to move forward with as well. So we'll work with you on that case.
Excellent. I think maybe two more, and then we'll just wrap up with some final resources. We had one question that was wondering, can you use SBIF funding for projects to come into compliance with existing building code violations?
Absolutely not. We do not accept any applications for properties that are not in compliance. If there's anything, that pertains to an injunction, lease pendants notice, building code violations, those will need to be addressed. And you do have to have proof that they've been addressed. before you submit an application.
All right. And the last one here for everybody today who is going to be applying for the January district openings, at what point will you be returning responses? When will they hear from Summer Core team about what the next steps are?
Okay, so the deadline for the January applications is February 8th. So they should hear back from us within the 2 to 3 weeks following that date. So we'll determine whether or not the districts need a lottery. If so, the applicants will be advised of that. They will be invited to sit in on the lottery. If not, we'll be able to proceed with their application. So usually within 2 to 3 weeks following the deadline, we'll reach out to the applicant to get started with the process.
Excellent, thank you. Sylvia, would you mind going to the next page so we can just highlight the 2 other items here? We actually have 2 other items just to highlight here today, just because this audience, I think, will be really interested in learning about this, because the first rollout here is specifically tailored to manufacturing industrial districts. There is a new program that's going to be sponsored through IMEC to actually do business training, TIFWorks training for small manufacturing businesses. So if you are located in one of those TIF districts listed here and you're interested in this training, please use this contact information here. Note that we'll be, both Summer Core and DPD will be promoting this more extensively, and we'll be obviously sending out this presentation at the end so you'll have access there. But if this is you, this might be a great opportunity to get additional training. And then the next slide. Obviously, everything that's been going on in Washington, D.C. in terms of federal small business relief is still being worked out by the SBA. But this bill has quite a few items in it that could be helpful to small business owners here in Chicago. And that includes if you already have an SBA loan that potentially you can get payment relief. There's an opportunity for a PPP second draw loan. They're supposed to be simplifying the forgiveness process. The deadline for EIDL programs. So if you did not get an EIDL grant the first time around, you can still apply based on COVID hardship through December 31st. And another great piece of information is that if you did receive specific types of relief, they will be considered non-taxable income, which is a real help. So these are questions obviously that go beyond the purview of the City of Chicago and Summer Core, but we at Summer Core especially take our role as a nonprofit for small businesses very seriously. We want to be a resource to you. So we're happy to answer any questions or at least point you in the right direction on all these items if we can. And that's all I have. Mary or Chip, do you have anything else to add?
I don't, other than just adding that what I sort of opened with, and you did as well, that we're really looking forward to implementing some of the changes that we made. We're looking forward to helping any way we can. That's what we're here for. And with your help, that's exactly what we hope to do.
Great. As a reminder, everybody who attended today will receive a follow-up email with a copy of the presentation and a link to the video. Thank you so much. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you.